Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to the final session of this HR Conclave, Business Session 4, on the theme How to Nurture a Motivated and Productive Workforce to Deliver Enhanced Value to Customers. May I now invite the chairman of this session, Mr. C. Mohan Kumar, Honorary President, National HRD Network, Chennai Chapter, to kindly take his place on the dais. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Mr. C. Mohan Kumar. I also invite the distinguished speakers for this session, Mr. Arun Leslie George, Senior Vice President and Head HR, Coromandel International Limited, Secunderabad, and Mr. G.S. Ramesh, Chairman, Lion Group. Mr. C. Mohan Kumar is a Honorary President, NHRD, Chennai Chapter, a postgraduate in management from XLRI. He has 27 years of experience, worked across spectrum of companies like SRF, Reliance, SR Energy, Crane Energy. He has mixture of experience in HR, industrial relation, training, and he has led the team that won the first prize in the All India Young Managers competitions a couple of years back, and he's presently the chairman of NHRD Chennai Chapter. Welcome to you, sir. Mr. Arun Leslie George is an economics graduate and has done his master's degree specializing in human resource and industrial relations. He's also a Fulbright Fellow in Management. He's a Senior Vice President and Head of Human Resource at Coromandel International Limited. He's responsible for business excellence, total quality management, corporate branding, communication, and innovation. He serves on the National Committee in HR in Human Resource of the Confederation of Indian Industries. He's also a member of the CII National Leadership Committee and member of the CII National Committee on Industrial Relations. Welcome, Mr. Arun. We also have with us Mr. G.S. Ramesh, who is presently the founder, chairman of Lion Group of Companies. This group was conceived as Mr. Ramesh's second innings in his professional career, which spanned over 35 years in the field of HR. The group is focused on being a one-stop shop for HR solutions in all the industries, having its headquarters in Chennai with pan-India presence. Mr. Ramesh started his first innings and served Tatas for 20 years and was the first Indian to be associated for building Hyundai Motor India into a jewel in the crown of Hyundai worldwide, where he was the Senior Vice President HR of Hyundai for 12 years. He's an advisor and external board of director in several companies, well entrenched and growing in India as well as transnational organizations entering India, and an active member of various government agencies seized with industrial growth and development. He's actively involved in professional bodies and industrial bodies. I now hand over the session to the chairman of this Business Session 4, Mr. C. Mohan Kumar.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be part of this conclave and to anchor this session. To give a understanding how we plan to conduct is that I'll give a brief introduction on the topic. Thereafter, both the speakers will be talking for about 20-25 minutes. Thereupon, we'll have some questions which we can take on. The theme, as you may be knowing, of this particular session is how to nurture a motivated and productive workforce to deliver enhanced value to the customers. If you recall, today morning we started with Raju Venkatraman talking about the expectations from HR. Thereafter, we had the CEO's panel discussions. Various aspects had come out from that, and thereafter in the afternoon we had very interesting presentations by both Venkat as well as Ganesh on the Rane story as well as the TCS. Thereafter, again, the interesting presentation on social media, how it can be used in terms of engaging employees. Thereafter, what is important is that with all these inputs, how we get it in the ground in terms of making employees engaged and deliver to the end customer. That's where the context of this session is. And I assure you, our experienced panelists, though we are last session will be the latest in terms of inputs, and it's going to give key input in terms of making a strategy, especially if one way to look at, okay, the context that was understood from the morning sessions, the afternoon session, what all can be done. This input coupled with your company context is what will go into your own HR strategy as well as your company's. I look back, actually, 3 instances I would like to share with you. About 14 years back, I was doing an exit interview for one person, an MBA, who had spent about 4 years in a company, 4.5 years. And I was only about 10 months old in that company. So as I was talking to him, do you have a job offer? He said, no, no job offer. Are you going to start a business? No. Are you planning to relocate back? He was from Goa. He was from Goa Institute of Management, and I was in Bombay. Are you planning to go back to Goa? No. Are you going for higher studies? No. Then I asked him, why are you resigning? What is the reason? He said, what is the point in talking about it? It's all over. Then I said, no, just let me try to understand it. Because it's very intriguing. Why are you going without a job? If you don't have a job, if you go to market, you won't get another job and you will not have bargaining power. Then he said, see, I wanted to be in marketing, but I am doing accounting work. Then he told that he did his marketing specialization from his institute. But ever since he joined, after training, he was put in accounts and marketing department. Though everybody said he was in marketing, he was in accounts. Then I told him, what happened? You could have gone and you could have represented your boss, you could have represented during your appraisals, you could have taken up with the process, with the grants addressal system. Because that company said human resources are the most valuable asset. That's what the chairman's message put everywhere. He said he tried, but nobody was willing to listen. But fortunately, okay, to cut a long story short, we took up his case and we then later put him in proper marketing. And I'm happy that 14 years now, he is now become vice president in MNC. Because he left the company after 5 years. He is heading marketing in an MNC. The other case is about 4 years back, wherein a youngster from one of the leading management institute was doing a summer project in HR department. At the end of the project, I was just meeting the candidate to see him off and understand what he did. Went through the presentation, everything was fine. Then he was hesitating. I said, what is the problem? Is something not okay? What is that are you unhappy with? He said, I wanted to do a project in finance. I said, you're telling after 2 months, the end of the project now, what can I do? What did you do? What did you not tell the recruiters, did not tell the training coordinators? He said, he stated, no, they said no change is possible just because one person said. The reason why I highlighted that case is that that's a case where literally his placement got into trouble because of doing a wrong project, though it was from one of the best institutes. The need to ensure that the processes and tools in HR are well understood and implemented is very important. That's why for even nurturing, everything is important. The last case was last week. I'd been to one of the retail stores and I bought some milk actually, which was required. And at the counter, the girl had the courtesy. I didn't ask anything. She just said, sir, the milk is 1 day old. If it gets spoiled, please ensure to keep the cover, keep the bill. You come, we will replace it. Fortunately, nothing happened. But the kind of impact it created on me was fantastic. Briefly, if you look at in the 70s and 80s, that's the time when the economy was closed. That's the time quality was never a concern actually. Most companies, this cost plus was the base in terms of pricing. Then in the 80s, the quality movement came and then people talked about quality circles and understanding of quality, big important came up. Then in the 90s, the economy opened up and when TQM came in, that's when people started saying customer satisfaction is important. First was think customer, then customer satisfaction. After the advent of the Chinese this decade, wherein your customer is not going to be loyal unless they get the best. So you have to delight the customer. So it's very important. So the context has changed, and in the light of whatever that we heard in the morning, we have Arun to share his thoughts on 2 aspects. One is in terms of talent management, number 2 in terms of compensation management. Over to Ramesh. Sorry, over to Arun.
Last like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you are from HR over here? Almost okay. I'm delighted to address all of you. My energy levels go up when I address HR professionals, and that's the reason is the role of HR professionals is on the rise. If you look at the kinds of work they do, the kinds of impact they're making in organizations, is phenomenal. And it's also reflected in terms of compensation. Actually, there are people who are paid over 100 crore rupees in terms of salary per year. Okay, so in whichever part of the world, that's a lot of money, you know. So is it 100 crore salary? What does he do? What does he do when he comes in the morning? And what does he do when what's the first thing he does? And every minute is probably worth, thousands of dollars. What kind of work does he do? And there was a sense of disbelief when I even saw that. And I saw the names of people who get paid over 100 crore rupees. Until there was this Harvard professor, and he was a professor of strategy, and he said in his presentation on a strategy session, and it's the last slide, and it's the last class, and he said, look, this is all that I've taught you is very, very important, but let's look at what gives you sustainable competitive advantage. And then he talked about, great pricing strategies, great advertising strategies, great innovations, R&D, manufacturing. And he said, a good manufacturing thing will give you a 2-year advantage. A great R&D thing would give you a 4-year advantage, And that's the max it went. Until he came to human resources. And he says human resources is the only area which can give you more than 7 years of competitive advantage. Okay, so and he said, and all of you, whatever you have learned over the last, whatever it is, remember one thing, focus on human resources, because that's where your competitive advantage is going to come from. That's the difference between you and the next best company. So I believe, and I think that's, and I believe that it's not just the organizations which gets a competitive advantage of human resources, but as a nation, I think human resources can impact. If we as human resources function can impact organizations in India, we can make India more competitive than any other organization across the world. And I think we have the DNA with us. The way we operate, the way we deal with people is far, far better than the way many organizations. It's inherently strong with us. It's just that we need to invest more in systems, processes, and ideas. And session like today, I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to improve even a little bit in terms of our human resources practice understanding. And I believe it will be very, very useful. But the reality is that half of us, 10 years from now, half of us probably, 10 years down the line, half of us probably would be well on the way to get that 100 crore salary. But half of us would probably not have a job. And that's because half of us are not willing to reinvent ourselves. And at Carnegie Mellon University, they said they have this very interesting concept which they say, eat your children. It sounds very crude, but they say eat your children, okay? Something that you yourself have nurtured and built. Have the courage to dismantle it and replace it with something better, okay? And I think that's the idea of reinventing ourselves almost every day. So I think that's something which we ourselves as a company have been practicing, is trying to dismantle what works well and trying to put something which works even better. So that's this thing. So I'm going to take you through a few slides. Some of the slides I've raced through because of paucity of time, but I'll leave this presentation with you so you can always look at it. In terms of developing, getting a motivated and productive workforce, I believe there are 2 areas which we need to look at. One is managing talent, whether it is attracting, growing, engaging, and rewarding talent. And the second is delivering value. You have this, if you build this great talent pipeline, you have a great talent engine, you need to get them to deliver a value, and that's aligning them to the mission of the organization. I'm going to talk a little bit about the strategy maps and the balance scorecard also. In terms of talent management, this is a CLC model, and we believe when we look for someone, we look for these three parts. What's his aspiration, what's the person's ability, and what's the kind of engagement level he brings in. In terms of, there's a little bit of a, when we look for talent, there's a little bit of a bias we give towards ability and engagement. Aspiration is something which is very difficult to infuse. You either have it or you don't have it. There are many people who are fairly low on aspiration, and the reason is because they may not be willing to make the sacrifices that it takes to go up, or they have other important goals in life. And people who don't have aspiration, we generally try and say, okay, if there's no aspiration fit, we generally don't identify such people either for leadership development or for even in terms of hiring. And of course, and that's the reason is because we look for people with fire in the belly. We want people who are aggressive. Okay, so we want people, as I said, who must be willing to take those risks. So fire in the belly is an important thing for us, not acidity, but getting people to actually drive things and making it happen. Whatever happens is when people, this is the theoretical model. In reality, they don't fall right in the center of the lap. They all fall all over the place. So you will find people who are not so good on ability, not so good on engagement, but these are things which we can work on. And our whole leadership development program, whole talent management program focuses on this area of getting people right into the center of the these three curves. What we do is we have a development center for our senior and middle managers. Okay, and that's built around a competency model, which is based on what are the kinds of leadership depth that we'd like to have and what are the business strategies that we have. So it's very customized to our business, customized to our requirements. We then do a development center design. I don't need to talk about all this. We have we then have a development center content. We actually do the development center. These competencies are indicative competencies, but it varies from level to level. And based on the competencies, we also have a basket of DC exercises. Now, that's for the senior and middle management. But for the other executives, we don't do the entire, you don't put them through the development center across for all people. One is, it takes a lot of time, and it also costs a lot of money. So we pick up those people who are high on performance and potential, also those who are on medium on either one of those axes, and then take those people and put them through a development center. And so this is the way we identify people for the development initiatives. What we do in terms of growing talent is we have a leadership pipeline. At every level, we have a pipeline. So people moving from an individual contributor to a first-time manager, from a first-time manager to a seasoned manager, from a seasoned manager to a first-time leader. They're all different kinds of program. And then we have from a first-time leader to a seasoned leader. And of course, people who are a seasoned leader to an established leader, we send them through for an AMP program, either to Harvard or to INSEAD, one of those programs we send them to. So the idea is to build a consistent leadership pipeline across the organization. I'm going to just talk about one of these programs, and that's Lakshya. Basically, what this program attempt to do is keeping in mind the vision of the company, which is to double the turnover every 3 years. Coromandel has been growing very fast. It's actually one of the fastest growing companies in India, and has been having fantastic returns. Our return on equity is right up to international standards. And we want to continue to grow at that rapid pace. So if you want to grow at that rapid pace, we need people to grow those businesses. So we said we will identify high potential leaders. We will also have develop a leadership capability, and through this process strengthen the leadership pipeline, talent pipeline. What we did was we first communicated the development center results to the individuals. We actually told people who are high potential that you are high potential. So the rest of the organization knew who were the high potential executives. There are a lot of people who question this, say, is it the right thing to do or not? But we believe it's better to do that. And the reason we believe it, because we had the situation where one of our high potentials actually resigned and left. And then we told him, look, you are a high potential executive. How can you, leave us? We've got so many plans for you. He said, you never told me. I mean, had you told me, I would have stayed on. But now you never told me. So we said it's better to tell people. In the process, some of the non-high potential people may actually leave. But it's better my high potential people stay than, the others leave. So this is something which we did. We actually clearly told them what how they fitted against the leadership requirements. Okay, and we also told them what their plan for them would be going forward. We also did a group DNA and found out what is the thing which comes out across a particular segment of leaders. What's the DNA? Because that gives you an idea of what kind of a talent pool we have. And so if you have to correct the DNA, either in terms of infusing new people or having certain group-wide development initiatives, so we said we'll have a group DNA. And from there, we identified these 3-star hypos, a 2-star hypo, and a 1-star executive. Okay, so many of the people know that they are 3-star. Many of them know that they are 2-star people. Okay, but and we are saying that it's not permanent. It's not etched in stone. That you have an opportunity, even if you are not an hypo, you have an opportunity to get onto this hypo bandwagon at a later date. So this is the group DNA we did. And for this particular set of leaders, if you look at it, there were some things which were going really well. Okay, if you look at the specialist knowledge, drive for results, and securing alignment, we were very strong. But in many other areas, we were not so good. And some areas, we were outrightly poor. Okay, so this is something which came across in our assessments. And then we said, what is it that we can do to improve this group DNA? So what we have is, we have a talent board. The talent board consists of the managing director and all the people who directly report to him. So all the CXOs and the managing director consist of the talent board. Now, their role is to set the guidelines for the talent management across the organization, to review talent management periodically, and commit resources. We also have an external coach, and we have an internal coach, and of course HR facilitators. What we said is that there are certain areas we wanted a certain stronger focus. One was on strategy and innovation. We said an organization must be strong on strategy and innovation. Many organizations are very focused on execution, focused on operation. And the problem is, it's like getting people to run faster, except they're running in the wrong direction. So it's very important that you know which direction you're running. So the strategy is very, very important. Once you get strategy clear, then you focus on. Our belief is that if your execution is suboptimal, you can still get away with it. But if your strategy is wrong, you're doomed for failure. So we said we need to focus high on strategy, get people in the organization thinking and acting on strategy all the time. Second is in areas of innovation. We need people to think innovatively, think out of the box, challenge the status quo, reinvent ourselves all the time. And we believe the best time to reinvent yourself is when things are going on really well, and not when you've got your back to the wall. And the advantage is you have the time and the resources to make the changes. And therefore, we believe that it's very, very important that we focus on innovation. We also have a lot of focus on managing climate and engagement. Getting the right climate, getting the right engagement is very important. It impacts the culture of the organization very clearly. This, along with people management, impacts the organization, culture of an organization very strongly. There's another view, and this is by another Harvard professor, and he says, strategy, and he's got the thing board on that. He says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. Okay, what he believes is, if you got your culture of an organization very, very good, then you can make a big impact on the outcome of the organization. And I think that's something, and that's probably the reason, one of the reasons why HR professionals get paid so well, because the impact of culture is very, very strong in an organization. So based on this, we have 4 methodologies. We have business projects, we have an IDP discussion, we have one-on-one coaching, both internal and external, and then we have workshops. Apart from that, we also have a 360-degree feedback. We categorize these development methodologies. We don't, I mean, these are broad methodologies for 3-star, 2 stars, and 1 star. But even among there, we do a lot of customization. So for a particular manager who has a particular requirement, we sort of give them a customized input for that. It may be a one-on-one session, it could be a project, could be a different intervention altogether. But this is something we focus on. Because one of the things we found is people get very demotivated when I'm treated like in one canvas. The moment something is done for me, which I believe is relevant, then they respond more positively towards it. So we believe the customization is very, very important. So if you look at it, we as an organization invest disproportionately high time on these kind of people compared to the others. We don't sit and say, okay, let me put everybody through a training program. We don't do that. We say, let's put people who really require those programs and how they can impact an organization at a larger scale. We put them through a more customized program. In terms of engaging talent, and this is something which is something which we believe is very strong, our whole thing is that if you have people with capability, if they are engaged, and if they've got the fire, most of your problems get resolved. Okay, if people they have the ability and they've got the desire to work for the organization, I think that's most of your problems get resolved. So we spend a lot of time and a lot of resources on engagement. We have been following the Gallup Q12 methodology for the last more than 10 years. And this is, it's a fairly simple methodology where it says we focus on a few key items. There are just 12 statements that we focus on. And it starts from the very basics in terms of what do I get, in terms of do I have the right material and equipment to work, I know what's expected of me at work. Then you slowly do I do what best every day at work? Okay, in terms of recognition, someone caring for the organization, and encouraging development. So this is a pyramid, and our belief is, and this is what Gallup also recommends, is to focus on the bottom of the pyramid as we go along. What we do is we have not just surveys, but we have management workshops for every manager. So every manager gets a scorecard, and the scorecard tells him what the engagement level for his particular team is. And this is something which we measure and we track right up to the performance appraisal stage. So we're making sure engagement is a very key part of it. In the performance appraisal, we look at what he has done, we also look at his capabilities, and we also look at what kind of engagement levels he brings into the organization. These 3 things we focus on, so also it gets weightage for each manager, and therefore he's motivated to work on engagement of his people. What we do is, we said, in terms of measuring this whole program, we have certain direct impact evaluation metrics, okay, and that in terms of the quality of the managers we have, in terms of, we also looked at what is the number of, what's the 360-degree feedback results he is getting, what is his immediate managers have responded, what is the talent board rating for each manager. So this ensures that every executive actually gets measured on this through these metrics. We also have certain indirect impacts on evaluation metrics, and that's at an organization level. We looked at in terms of the number of talented managers who leave, what is the number of what is the engagement scores, and what is the number of internal promotions we have from within the talent pool. We also have a leadership index of hypos, and that's basically, if you remember the first slide, I told you there were aspiration, ability, and engagement. Now, aspiration is something if you don't have, we don't even put you into the reckoning. But in terms of ability and engagement, we believe that contributes to the leadership development index. So we have the development center score, pre and post. We have the engagement score, pre and post, and the average of those two becomes the leadership score. So then, and we set a target for those leadership index to move over a period time frame for each of the managers. And then we index it across for the entire organization. So if you look at the entire organization at certain levels, we have at 6.57 and 6.4. We're targeting in the next 18 months to take it to 7.5. Now, these were, of course, the scores were much lower in the past. This index keeps a track of what's the quality of leadership that we have in the organization. In terms of rewarding talent, we take a total rewards approach, and we believe that's very, very important. What you can do is, and we talked about cost reduction, okay, you can actually reduce cost by at least 5% without negatively impacting value, or increase value by more than 30% without increasing spend. And that's if you look at the total rewards approach, rather than give it, have separate rewards for different things. And that's very, very important. So you have, in terms of total rewards approach, we have a base compensation, we have incentives, we have retirement benefits, leave benefits, health benefits, family benefits. And each one with having a particular impact for the executive and the organization. We also have some of the indicative rewards are, we have, at the company levels, we have stock value in terms of impacting ESOPs. We have group incentives. Yeah, okay. So we have unit scorecards, policy deployment. You have the various metrics. The idea is these kind of rewards ensure that people are getting rewarded for different aspects of what they do as an organization. And lastly, aligning people to deliver business value. Our belief is that if you want to translate mission to execution, we talked about delivering value to the customer, whether it's delivering value to the customer or delivering value to any of the stakeholders, we need to have an organization which is fairly aligned. And that's why we have this particular schema of things which will focus on mission, we focus on our core values. From there comes our vision, from there our strategy. We then have a balanced scorecard, then we have strategic initiatives, and at the level personal objectives, impacting all these various criteria. Now, and how we measure them are through various company scorecards, unit scorecards, and policy deployment. What we have is, if you look at it, actually it's a PDF file, so it's the first part got blanked out. But basically what we have is the 4 criteria: customer, financial, internal business process, and learning and growth. We pick 4 to 5 metrics from each of the perspectives, and then measure them across, for each business unit, each manufacturing unit, each marketing unit. The idea is that people get aligned to it. Now the advantage is people through this process actually know what is expected out of them. We even think even the lowest person should know how is he impacting the strategy of the organization. Quite often, even the most talented person feels completely demotivated because he says, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lost in this organization. It's a very large organization, people get lost. But if I know I'm impacting the strategy of the organization, if I know I'm impacting the larger outcome of this organization, then I feel far more motivated. And therefore, we have these scorecard weightages. I'm not going to go through them, but each, depending on the level of the executive, the scorecard weightages vary across the organization. I want to just talk about one, I think this is my last slide, which is on increasing impact. If you look at it, if you do proper assessments, both at the performance management level, so for example, we have 5 levels of assessment for each manager, and that ensures that he gets a fair deal. Okay, there's a sense of fairness which in fact, we rated fairly high on performance management in terms of fairness, how employees see the organization, is because of these 5 levels of assessment we have. We are fairly transparent. I want you to just focus on one thing. We reward experimentation. Even if a person fails, he knows there's a safety net. No matter what happens, and that's a great sense of motivation. People really feel good about it, saying, look, I can take the risk without a fear of failure. We use a lot of low-cost or no-cost rewards also. And in terms of employee engagement, if you improve your level of employee engagement, I know people in today's world, thinning margins, they talked about thinning margins and reducing costs. But remember, if you increase engagement levels, people's perception on their own salaries improve. So if two employees having exactly the same salaries, one person is engaged and the other person is not, the person who's engaged will say, I am satisfied with my salary. So he's more likely to say, I am satisfied with my salary. This we did through our own analysis with the organization. We actually did a correlation of engagement levels versus satisfaction with salary. We found people whose engagement levels are high found that they are more satisfied with their salaries. So if you want to get motivated people, you want to get people excited, focus on engagement, because they're going to, no matter how much you increase salary, it will still not help. But increase levels of engagement, and it's the lowest cost way of getting people to be satisfied with the salaries they receive. Okay, and of course, finally communicate. I'll stop with this, and I'm willing to take questions at the end of the session. Thank you very much.
I'm requesting Ramesh to share his thoughts on impact of coaching on motivation, productivity, and value addition, how to help employees see the end objective of the day-to-day work.
Thank you, Mr. Mohan. I was just thinking, whenever the cricket match is getting over, the last batsman, people start leaving the stadium. So I was counting how many people are leaving now. Thank God. Should give some motivation to stick on here. Please bear with me for a few minutes. I think Arun has covered everything. So I was just telling Mohan what I am supposed to speak. My dear friends, as you have been told that I'm an old man of 59 years, 35 years in HR, now playing second innings by setting up my own company, because you know everybody is trying to set up a consulting firm, so I also copied them. Today we have grown well. We have got about 1,000 odd employees in our company. We are touching about 20 crores turnover. What makes me most important, because I was with Tatas and Hyundai, and normally still I am being known as a Hyundai Ramesh. Whenever captain calls me, in Hyundai you did so much. Whatever we have been talking about, engagement, empowerment, enrichment, all ease up. And now when we talk of social side, ease, email, again electronic media is chasing. While we set up a manufacturing academy and I was in training program, so one of the employees got up. He said, sir, I have a question to ask you. I said, go ahead. He said, I'm an ITI with 10 years experience in a manufacturing firm. I'm not able to understand why every time people blame workers for everything. Is it a fact that HR and management has lost their confidence or competence? Or is it that we are being subject to blame because offense is the best defense? I was really surprised and taken aback with this question. And this was something which really triggered me to think why this man, 10 years as a technician, is asking such question. When I found he is right. Most of the seminars, most of the training program starts with them. And finally we'll end up thinking that what are we doing? As a HR person, all of us here sitting here, I was just one day thinking that I wanted to do reverse brainstorming. Since full day you have been told all important things. So let me talk some unimportant things which will make you important. The thing which really cares for me when we talk of role of HR is operating and maintaining role. Because we have always been talking of engineering role. We always say HRs are consultant. HRs are advisors. But actually, in reality of my 30 years, I said HR is the people who is running the business. CEOs are our better halves. Do you agree with this? Nobody wants to agree because it needs competence. We have to really think about it, that are we running the organization? Are we the owners of the organization? We try to teach people sense of belongingness, sense of ownership, engagement, enrichment. Are we really engaged with our company? Is the again question mark I always have to feel. Similarly, I have always seen when we talk of the relationship angle is the most important when we talk of engagement. And when we say HR, I always say honesty in relationship, not human resources. HR is a honesty in relationship. That's why I say we have to be working from human to humane rather than going all around and talking all big things. How much we sincerely have done ourselves. So I tried to create in a small way called Liam's trap theory. This is our company's trap theory. The first T talks about, all of you talk talent search, talent management, talent engagement. But I always feel these are all beautiful jargons to keep ourselves busy. I jokingly say retention strategy is one of the best strategic word to retain HR themselves in the organization. Because today, when we have to retain people, that means we are not doing our work. HR is not doing their work. Why the HR are there? They are supposed to make sure the good culture, good environment, good strategies, good behavior, everything is built. And if you are not able to keep your girlfriend with you or your wife with you, similarly employs your better half, then there is something wrong with you. It might be very difficult for you to take this. So basic foundation line for this, I always say, is the trust. Are we able to build trust on ourselves first? Are we confident within ourselves? And do we able to build trust with others? Is the employees or the people also called just now about social media? I was just thinking, social media is a beautiful platform to share. One side, Obama says, right of privacy is not allowed. Other side, we talk, we open ourselves. Are we matured enough for that is the question. It's a very good side, social media. I'm not against it. But are we matured enough for that? Then why are you talking about policies for social media? If we have to be honest, let's be honest. Let's accept what people are expressing. So the trust is the very important word. Trust relates with the transparency. Trust relates with how you able to see, we talk of transformation. We talk of everything starts with T, the talent. And we keep ourselves in the business by using this T everywhere. The team spirit. Right? Do you agree or not? Too tired, I know. Full day I've been hearing all this. So what I am trying to say, don't go for these big jargons. Simple word. Trust yourself, build trust on others. All other things fall in its place. And all other things are meant to keep ourselves in the business. We'll keep it like that. Right? The second word, we talk about R. The trust word, trap word has got T and R. R talks about retention, response and relationship. But again, we are all culturally very strong. Of course, we have been very fascinated by US. Nowadays, even if I have to meet someone, I have to start some quotes about US. Otherwise, he is not impressed. We have to talk about people from abroad. Otherwise, you say he's misfit. You know, I was coming for this. I told I am going to do extempore. So my office says, sir, you will be misfit. Take some slide. Otherwise, they will think you are not along with you are not dude, you are not cool. That's why I made this slide. Otherwise, I have gone for extempore. So second one I talk about R is the respect. How much respect you draw within your system? Respect doesn't mean that someone has to salute you. Respect with your knowledge, respect with your own existence in the system, and you say through other medias, I want to be known. One day I was traveling, my daughter-in-law told me, Dad, you should have a Facebook. You don't have a Facebook, you are misfit. I said, yeah, you're right. My driver gave one answer which really, made me happy. He said, don't say like that. Those who do not have a face needs Facebook. My driver is a diploma holder, a state medalist, gold medalist. He is telling me, you should not tell Dad. Those who do not have face needs Facebook. You please understand this sentence. I am not against Facebook, otherwise she will come against me. What I am trying to say, why we are not able to create our own existence in the society? Through our conduct, through our deeds, so that when we die, we leave something in the system. Why are we chasing something else to say, hey, I am existing here. Hey, I have gone to movie. Hey, I have done this. My God, so much you are feeling so insecure. You have to always cry in the system that I am here, please look at me. Sorry, I am not against social media. I am just trying to tell you that what has happened to us? What has happened to these youngsters? They don't have a bloody drive. They can't exist themselves. They need somebody to make them exist. I don't know. Maybe I am misfit again. The A comes, we talk of so much of achievement, accomplishment, all big, big words, you know. Very, 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 you know, for me, I learn every day one new word. But for me, A stands for acceptability. Are you acceptable within yourself and with the system? The company where you are working, you say, sir, mentoring, counseling, customers' delight, and just now Mr. Mohan said, see, you have to talk in this, I was not prepared. I said, I'll see, let me see, I'll talk. What is customer delight? You bloody well, you be happy with yourself, then only you can make others happy. What is delight? Delight, is it ice cream or what? I'm not able to understand it. At first, you be happy yourself. When you are happy, you remain young, obviously the customer will be happy with you. An unhappy employee can any time make customers happy? Obviously, you bloody well, you be happy first. Have you ever tried to remain happy? If you talk to HR fellow, he will say, you know, we are sandwiched between the management and the employees. We are like, you know, we are trapped. Oh, good word here. We are trapped. Right. Trapped, you are there for that only. Why are you trapped here? That's your job. You are existing because of that. You are telling that I am the person who will look after you. Right, sir? But how many of the HR, I want you to go back and ask your own people, how many of you really know me, to your employees. If you ask, they will say by fear, yes sir, I know, I heard that you have come, but by the way, who are you, sir? You know, because we want to try to make ourselves exist. You know, you want to be existent in your own system. And then you talk of so big, big things, you know, measurement. What are you trying to measure? Performance indicator? If all these tools and applications are excellent, then India should have been number one, I say. Which of these systems you are able to really relate and make them acceptable? That's my question. All systems are good. And you talk of US. Is that US has become number one with those systems? They have happily transferred everything to us. And we are the people marketing their tools. How many of the manufacturing industry in India, in the states are successful? General Motors went for bankruptcy. Chrysler went for bankruptcy. Which company you can prove it to me that they are excellent? Microsoft, when it came, how it came? Have you ever read that book? Have you ever tried to understand that fellow who created Microsoft? But we are copying them. I'm sorry, I said I will do reverse brainstorming. I'm taking you back. I want all of you to really go back and think seriously. All these conferences, seminars, everything is good. It should be done. Otherwise, when I will get time to shout like this? These are all important. But there is a need for you also to think. Go back, sit and think. People trust me? Do they respect me? Are they accepting me in my system? Where I can talk about engagement, empowerment, enrichment, creativity, innovations, quality. That's the issue. So finally, when we talk customers' delight, yes, I have to supposed to talk about delight. Otherwise, captain will say he was a useless speaker. You know, we have to focus on people, process, productivity. Everywhere I go, this word comes chasing me, you know. Every speaker speaks that. I get scared after hearing people, process, productivity. People, process, productivity. The word which I love most is the pride. We should create pride in the system. When I was in Hyundai, I was supposed to be the first Indian with Hyundai. The most important thing, they said, sir, I said, first you should have sensitive. People buy car. The first car he buys after so much of struggle. Nowadays only the bank loan gives an IT company easily giving money for nothing. So people are buying car. So he comes with the car and gives to you for servicing. So he says, sir, then one person said, the consulting company said, we should have a template, check, satisfied, not satisfied. I said, nothing. Simple, I did that program for all the dealer service staff. I said, in Indian context, they say, if you talk to the wife, she will say, this man, his first wife is his car. Am I right or not? When they buy first time. So you remember he is leaving his first wife to you, to the service provider, service people I used to say. So when he is leaving his emotion with you, please don't disturb his emotion. When he will go back, when he comes back, he will always look at it with love and passion. So create pride for him, because for him the car is a pride. For you, doing service of that car is a pride. So synergize that pride, and that relationship is built, and he will always remember you. And he will always call you for that service. And that's why, if you really know, Hyundai became successful because of after-sales service compared to any of the companies. Same way, we have to create self-esteem. People should have, if you want to create customer delight, first create delight in your mind, happiness in your mind, sense of satisfaction. And that will transfer automatically to the customer, and the customer becomes creates another 20. We always say, one customer creates 20 customers. The word of mouth, through the word of mouth, of course, now through the social media. I'm sorry, no? I was just trying to say, social media is one of the best, but sometimes I feel we are still not matured for that media. We have to get into that platform properly. And the same way, when we talk of leadership role for HR, when we talk of things, see, the openness, the transparency, the level, how you relate with people, how you create a proper trust, how you create a proper pride, then success story is with you. Then you can really create a good position, good situation, what we are looking for. So 2013 is going to be a year of excitement. There is auto recession, there is economic recession, there is everything we talk of negative. In this negativity, there is a high level of positivity. Because the negativity gives you to become positive. If there is no negativity, you'll never think of positive. So please try to be sure that this is the time you introspect, try to really go through what has to be done, get set in place, and create an environment of excellence. That environment of excellence will give the success story for your industry, for yourself, and what we are talking for. With these words, because the time is too short, I just close my expressions. This was my personal feeling, without any personal, don't take it as advice. Whatever I have experienced, I have shared with you. I am sure that you would have enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
This is also. I know we are fag end of the day. Huh?
Waiting for coffee, yeah.
Yeah, waiting for the coffee. We didn't have it. See, okay, I have actually one question which probably I'll put to Arun. What do you think can be the measures for talent management? Because when you say that we have put in place certain processes, what do you think can be the measure for that?
At a very individual level, you have what are the requirements. We have this competency index, which basically says what a person is required to do in a particular job and what is his competency level as against that. So that's what happens at an individual level. But as you take it to the next level, take it to a higher order, then you say, how does it impact your business? In terms of, you might have great talent management programs, but how does it impact business? So we have these metrics. We actually, recently, we got certified as an ISO 10015 company, and one of the things which we had to do was look at the various metrics which impact business. Many times, talent management, L&D professionals struggle with, saying how does it impact business. So they've got lots of measures, but none which the CEOs are able to relate to, or none of the line managers are related to. So we've actually got a lot of metrics which can impact direct business outcomes. So we always look at, start with the problem an organization faces. If you, bear with me for a minute, okay, if you walk around and ask yourselves, what is the, what should I be doing in terms of developing? All of you have stayed in hotels, all of you have stayed in this thing. List the number of issues which you have faced. In your entire life, what are the problems that you have faced? List it down. Okay, it could be the coffee not coming on time, or it's something is cold, or the room is not done, the toilet is not cleaned, my room key does not work. Look at the number of items. Then ask yourself, what is it that HR professionals could do to impact that? And ask yourself the other question, is there any of these issues in which HR professionals have no impact on? And you will discover that there are many of these areas HR professionals can actually impact on. So if you can impact those issues, which actually directly impact at the customer level, then you are actually creating value and you have those measurements. So if a particular person has a particular service item which he's supposed to do, a marketing person is supposed to do a particular thing, measure that. Mr. Ramesh talked about trust. So one of the things which we measured is, we have all these great programs, great this stuff. And we are basically into agriculture farms, so we've got about 600 odd retail stores. And these farmers come and buy stuff from us, and quite often, all of these store managers have these targets, so they're quite likely to sell stuff which in their enthusiasm to sell all sorts of things. So we've told, in part of our training, this thing is that you will not sell anything which the farmer does not require. So how do you measure that? So what we do, we put these huge mystery shoppers, managed by the L&D team, not managed by marketing, but managed by L&D team, which actually, we've got lots of these people going around various stores and asking for people, look, give me a particular product. And the typical conversation is, look, this is the particular product I want. So the store manager asks, why is it that you need this? So he says, no, because of this. He says, what else are you using? He says, I'm using this. Then he says, look, you don't need all that. What you're doing is good enough. You really don't need to just save your money and go back. You don't need to. So what should I be buying? So you don't need to buy anything. Now, what it does is, this is what creates sense of trust. Okay, now if you can measure that, and if you can measure that consistently, you are delivering consistent value for the customer, and that will deliver. You'll see wherever we found, wherever our mystery shopping scores are high, the stores have done better, or consistent over a period of a long term. In the short term, they may have lost some business, but in a consistent period, we have found. So we've said all our talent management must actually focus on those kind of metrics which actually directly impact the customer, directly impact parts of business, and not just have training mandates. These competency indexes are all nice to hear, but really they are just self-serving, internally looking metrics. What we need are impact metrics which actually measure what's happening at the customer level and at the business level.
Thank you. One question to Ramesh. See, often one of the aspects that we are confronted is normalization in terms of performance. So what do you think one should do? Normalization versus teamwork. That's always the conflict that happens. Normalization versus teamwork. Because when you start normalizing within the team, there are dissensions. So this person is getting rated 5, I'm getting 4, getting 3. That's a common issue that normally we confront. You have the
honestly, like Arun said, we also used to have a mystery shopping everywhere. Now also we do everywhere, no, not only in the whole place. Now, about the question of Mr. Mohan, as I said, that any kind of performance assessment or any measurement, there has to be a sense of transparency. And there has to be a rational justification to the person. The problem what we are facing is that we try to introduce a system without making them aware what is the logic and rational about the system, and not trying to make them acceptable about the system. We introduce a system like what you said for measuring. The person gets doubtful about any kind of performance assessment only when he doesn't believe that what is happening is right. If he believes what is happening is right, he will never question about this kind of thing. And the second is the roles performed the person who are assessees and the people who are getting assessed. Both should have a transparency in approach. He believes that this man is going to be honest in his all the assessments. And that is our role, to make them aware, understand, appreciate and accept what we are trying to introduce. Because we have got very beautiful, like what he is telling, we have many beautiful tools. I know internationally, I have happened to, I have visited all over the world, I have seen all the tools, because in the auto for 12 years and then Tatas. But nowhere genuinely as our role as a HR, honestly, we have not tried to implement the tool in a right sense. In a right sense means we have to coach the person who was going to supposed to implement those tools, whether the superiors or the subordinates or peers or whoever it is. We don't do that education in a proper way, and that's why there is always an element of disparity. The team and the normalization disparity erupts. So I strongly feel that sensitization and coaching on time in a proper way will help all these kind of, and eliminate all these kind of misunderstandings among the system and create a good feel factor and team spirit in the organization.
Can I just add one
Yeah,
more
please.
please. My personal belief is, I think these performance appraisal systems are highly overrated. Okay, in reality, they work very little. Though we also have, I told you about 5 levels of assessments and all that we have over there. I think it's the vast majority of people don't work because of an appraisal. You don't come to work in the morning because you think I'm going to work for an appraisal. You come for a larger cause. So you must be clear what is that larger cause that the person is working for. If you can connect the individual's aspiration with the larger cause, okay, it could be that, maybe in our context, okay, making a, if I can help in terms of reducing the cost of food for people, okay, I have a larger cause, okay, then I do that, and I'm not working for governmental, I'm not working for it, I'm trying to make a food better quality of food, lower cost of food. I think that makes a larger cause. Second, people they must be engaged, they must love to come in. Nobody, nobody likes to come to work with this, thing of, if I don't meet this deadline, what happens? The real thing is the fire, the excitement. If you can create excitement, if you can connect him to the larger cause of the organization, and you can support him, okay, you'll feel that most people actually would love to come whistling to work. They don't come to work because of appraisals. So appraisals are highly overrated. They are actually, if you ask me right now, even we have appraisals, but it's a thing which we need. A mature organization, as it grows along, we must at least outlive appraisals and actually dump appraisal. If you ask me, we have not yet matured to that level, but I think going forward, we must dump performance appraisal systems for more things which largely connect with the inner purpose of an executive or the inner purpose of an employee.
That's why today we talk of ownership models. That's right.
So on behalf of all the participants, let's give a big hand to Ramesh and Arun. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. May I now request Mr. Aragappan, Senior Member of MMA, to kindly step forward and present memento. To the Chairman of the session, Mr. C. Mohan Kumar. That's Mr. Arun Leslie George. Mr. Mohan Kumar, and Mr. G.S. Ramesh. Thank you, gentlemen, for having accepted our invitation to be present here. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, with this we come to the end of business session 4 and also to the end of this HR conclave. We conclude this conclave with the national anthem. May I now request all of you to kindly rise for the national anthem.